High blood pressure doesn't shout, it whispers until it suddenly destroys. Today, we're talking about hypertension, the silent killer that many people are living with, denying, or casually managing with, I'm fine, it's just stress. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Healthwise Show. My name is Uche Namadi, and I'm your host. As usual, I'll not be doing this alone today. With me in the studio are my wonderful co-hosts, Dr. Lani Oweye, who will help us break down the medical facts in simple terms, and Ms. Patsy Mukunga, a lawyer and the voice of everyday Nigerians, asking the questions people are afraid to ask their doctors. Shortly, we'll hear a real life story, one that started with, it's just work stress, it's just more BP, and ended very differently. After that, we'll break it down and share practical lessons, one you could use immediately, not later, and definitely not after a scare. So settle in, especially if you've ever checked your BP once and said, I'll deal with it later. Before we continue, do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow SynLab Nigeria on YouTube and on Spotify. Up next is our special guest who will be telling us a true story. Stay with us.
Life happens. And so that's how we lost Uncle Tim. But then again, growing up, I'm sure so many people can relate. We had this Uncle Tim in our family who was like a get to go for everyone. School fees, you call Uncle Tim, he sorts you out. House rent, you call Uncle Tim, he's there for you. He was just like he had a broad shoulder for everybody to lean on. Uncle Tim got married, got settled, had 3 kids, and they were living the life that all of us will look at then and say, God, when? They went for vacations abroad. They all go parties. They all had the good life. But then, like I said initially, life happened. Uncle Tim was that uncle who we always looked up to. He was the motivational speaker for the family. Like times when you are down, feel like speaking to someone, Uncle Tim was always there. But life happened. Uncle Tim never joked with his job. He got promotion year after year. He had little time for his family, regardless of the whole parties and the vacations. Uncle Tim splashes cash on anybody available. So, he was the love and the hero of the family. He wakes up 5 a.m., leaves the house, goes through the whole hassles and bustles, comes back very late in the night. I'm sure he spends just few minutes with his family every day before they all go to bed. That's if he has the opportunity. Uncle Tim never bothered about his health, and we all looked at him like Uncle Tim is healthy because, he's well built, walks a march like a soldier. So nobody really bothered about Uncle Tim's health, but we never knew Uncle Tim was passing it through life. We never had the chance to say, Uncle Tim, take care of yourself. Because again, Uncle Tim looked all healthy. He was going about life like every one of us do. Aside the parties, he was also a Christian bro because, he was well recognized, not just in the church, but also in the village. And so it was this December, Uncle Tim was called up by the village elders that he should come for an award. He has done so many philanthropic works in the village. He has a scholarship foundation where he gives people a life through education. And so the village king looked through the books and saw that Uncle Tim should be recognized and given an award. And so the day was fixed, 24th of December. We all got ready, moved to the village, set up the canopies. The food were all cooked. The DJ, the band, everywhere were ready to party. And so we got that call. Uncle Tim never showed up. And by the time we rushed down to his house, the wife told us that just as Uncle Tim finished bathing, he dressed up and they were about leaving. Uncle Tim slumped. And that's how we lost him. Well, he was rushed to the hospital in as much as he was declared brought in dead, but we needed to know what happened. And that was when we were told that Uncle Tim has been battling with hypertension, the silent killer. It took away Uncle Tim from us. Perhaps if Uncle Tim had been more careful, or probably checked his BP more often, or probably lived by the rules, Uncle Tim will be here for us. You know the sad truth? Most of the persons who Uncle Tim sponsored to school dropped out. They couldn't achieve their life plans and goals. They couldn't get those school certificates. The children, ah, they had to leave the top-notch school they were attending because, the wife couldn't keep up. Just if Uncle Tim checked his blood pressure every day, life would have still been going on. But then again, how often should one check their blood pressure? Should it be daily? Should it be weekly? Are there still some other things one could do to control their blood pressure? Because for us, Uncle Tim looked all healthy till that morning when he slumped. What exactly should one do? And then if I should also ask, blood pressure, is it hereditary? Because again, in our family, I never heard anyone had blood pressure till Uncle Tim happened on us. Anyway, the silent killer blood pressure took away Uncle Tim for us. I did like to know.
Wow. That story is very painful, but sadly it's familiar.
Yeah.
And I liked the questions she ended with when she said, is it hereditary? How often should we check our BP? And then advice for people managing high BP. So I want to start with Patsy. Let me even hear your own before I come to the medical part. What do you think about this story? Because Uncle Tim was living the good life.
I think this is from my singular point of view.
Okay.
I really feel like it's there should be the average Nigerian probably can relate. You most likely know somebody with high BP.
Sure.
Your parents, your grandparents, an uncle, an auntie. To me, high BP is almost like headache, like in terms of how
rampant often it happens.
It is. But as much as high BP is very, very rampant, I don't think the seriousness of hypertension is as rampant. Like, people don't take it with that gravity. Like,
that it's a serious issue.
It's high BP, but you don't think you're dealing with a life-threatening condition. Do you get it? It's just something you have to manage. Do you understand?
Like
I feel like there's a gap between high BP and
the seriousness of the high BP, actually. So. Dr. Ware, what do you think about the story that you just heard?
Well, I think it's quite relatable. Most people who have died suddenly, it's something you could, quite relate to. I can remember years ago when I was still a house officer, when someone was brought in from the trailer park, a 43-year-old. He was brought in unconscious, unresponsive, and of course, he was declared dead within the hour. So it's quite relatable. And just as she said, it's because, hypertension is a silent killer. Now, usually Nigerians or, people generally in our society or in this community that we find ourselves in will only seek for medical care when they have maybe headaches or some severe pains. We are built to forge through stress.
Yeah.
So if it's not killing you, then you're not likely to do anything about it. And because hypertension usually doesn't give any symptoms, so you could actually have high blood pressure for years without it showing. You understand? And so because it's not giving you headaches, it's not making you not go to work, it's not keeping you down on your bed. So there's this likelihood that you don't really think much, much about it. So it's quite relatable, and it just basically mirrors, what happens, like within the community, within, the people.
One thing I find scary is that people, especially Nigerians, because I'm one of them, we don't like to walk into the hospital. We like to be carried into the hospital. Because it is, I'm taking it from what you just said. And then she's now asking, is it hereditary? What can you say about the genetic part of this BP?
Now, yeah, it could be, but the truth is, there
So if my mom has it, I might have it.
No. Mark my words.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, it's not as most people would like to believe that, okay, someone has an hypertension, then the offspring must have hypertension. Yeah. It's not only one thing that causes hypertension, you understand? So yeah, there are some genetic components, to if somebody has, for example, certain genetic disorders that actually could predispose you to developing blood clots and could predispose you to having some vascular disorders or issues. Yes, you could have that. But then most of the cases of hypertension is the essential hypertension, the primary hypertension, about 90 to 95% of the cases where you don't even need to have any genetic background. So you could actually have a family where no one has had hypertension and then somebody just has it.
Oh, like she said in the story that nobody had it.
Yeah, like 90 to 95% of the times it's called the primary or essential hypertension. But there are some risk factors, and where if you identify those risk factors, you're most likely going to develop it. Like if you're obese, you could have. If you have diabetes, if you have hypercholesterolemia, too much, cholesterol in your blood, and then if you've had history of developing blood clots, and things like that, and then if you live a largely sedentary lifestyle, you're not active. If you drink a lot, if you smoke, things like that, and of course it's common, with the male gender, more common in males than in females, and of course more common in. Usually you see a lot more of the cases in blacks compared to other races, blacks and Hispanics.
Wow.
So there are some risk factors that have been associated with it. But then again, I just want to disabuse the mind of people, because people feel that once they come to the hospital and tell them that they have hypertension, the next thing they're saying is my father doesn't have, my mother doesn't have, it doesn't actually follow. Most of the cases of hypertension is primary essential hypertension, and then you don't really need to have any genetic, basis for it. You just, could develop it.
So my worry is that hypertension doesn't announce itself. Like no warning, no alarm, just damage.
Wait, but
like from 0 to 100. So my question now is, in fact, is my listeners I'm even angry with, because there are some people that just those that know that they're actually hypertensive and are on medication, and then all of a sudden they feel fine, and they just stop. So why do people stop their BP drugs when they just feel like they are fine?
Yeah, there's so many factors to that. Now, the concept of having to use medications for the rest of my life is not something that a lot of Nigerians, really want to accept.
But it's not right, though. It's not right, because it does more harm than good.
It's because they do not know. Then, of course, again, there's the poverty angle to it. A lot of people feel, now I have to be on medications for the rest of my life, and then a lot of people,
can't afford it.
They feel, I cannot afford medications for the rest of my life, and things like that. And they actually feel that some people still have these bias against orthodox medicine. You see a lot of them saying, you see a lot of people moving from the orthodox medicine to herbs because they feel herbs are actually more effective. So begin to see how, sorts of these things. And then for me, as a doctor, what I usually do is when I get a hypertensive patient, I spend a lot of time counseling them, and I let them understand, that the drug is very, very is helpful, because as you said, hypertension is a silent killer. It could just be lying in wait like a snake for years, and then one day it strikes and it does not give you time. So now what you have basically, I think I've said it in one of my videos before, it's like a spring. Hypertension is like a spring. If you do not control it, it's just like when you're actually stretching a spring. So it just keeps getting stretched. You understand? And then you know that when you stretch a spring, there's an elastic limit that you get to at some point.
It's
So,
gonna snap.
and then it will snap. So if you are not on your antihypertensive medications, of course, that spring will continue to get stretched until the day it snaps. Then it could snap in a stroke, it could snap in a heart attack, and then it could snap also in you bleeding into the brain, which usually is almost always very fatal. Wow. So now, what I tell people is this: the medication you are on is like when you put load on that spring. So you have to continue, you have to keep it down. So the medication helps you to live a normal life because it keeps your blood pressure normal. So you don't even have to worry about the complications occurring. So you have to continue to be on the medication. Now, what happens when you stop your medication abruptly? Now, it's just like you have a spring. The spring is still there. It's the load that is controlling, the spring from being stretched. And when you suddenly remove that load, what happens? So it's like you have like a rebound effect, So that's what usually happens when people are on medications and then they stop abruptly. That's what usually happens.
You've just reminded me of something. Yeah. So I was opportune to sit with a cardiologist. He was just explaining, So he said it's like putting a ball in water. The pressure that you're using to hold it down, ball will float normally.
Yes.
So when you release it comes up. And then if you had your BP reading, okay, let's say your normal is 130/90, and then the medicine is still there. By the time you leave it and it comes up, it assumes a new normal, which is slightly higher than what it was.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's how it keeps going.
That's so interesting because honestly, if you didn't explain it like this, somebody like me, average Nigerian here, I would have never thought about it like that. Frankly, like in my head, the picture is very different. Like the picture is like, okay, you have BP, you've suppressed it, and
if you remain suppressed,
or if you stop taking the drugs, it will not climb up gently. Honestly, before this explanation, that's all that has been in my head. So if this spring illustration is like, wow, now that you've explained it, my brain is like, that kind of makes sense, but that was absolutely not what I was thinking prior. And I do believe that most people will be thinking the way I'm thinking. Like if it's already low, even if I stop the drugs, maybe I can stop now. It's just be climbing. Then when it's high in another 3 months or 6 months, I'll now start
in another 3 months. Let me shock you. So like for us now in the lab, there is something we call LJ chart. So we talk about trends, shifts, and biases. Trend is gradually climbing. So that's what you were thinking.
Yes.
Now shifts, ideo. It's not trending
I feel
up.
Like most people are thinking in the trend area. The way I'm thinking, like, I fought it down. And we've talked about this severally, and I don't think it will stop coming up about the fact that people don't take their health maybe like as serious.
They don't.
What I mean is, if you're on like hypertension drugs now, and there's your medicine, there's rent, there's fueling card,
there is rent. No, wait, you didn't get it.
School fees.
There is rent that is going up every Eke market day.
And you're gonna be like, I'm alive, I can stop the drugs for now. And just you in your head is like, these other things seem more imminent than
you
this.
Prioritize other things over your own health.
Please.
Do you get? Because it's silent. You're not having any reaction.
No
I'm
symptom.
not dying.
Exactly.
I'm not having headaches. I'm not having
symptom.
anything. I can pause the medicine for
and that's
now.
the problem. And that's why we are here, because I feel like a lot of people take hypertension as a small illness. And they actually start acting when they have had a scare, a stroke, or something. But I don't think we should,
we shouldn't.
We should not make it look like it is because I am asymptomatic. I should now go with the flow and prioritize rent and the rest of it.
It's even the way he's talking about all the things that could end up happening. You talked about bleeding
into
the brain,
in the brain,
heart attacks.
And
yes. I feel like
this
we need to be telling people this.
I'm not talking about the slumping.
What makes you slump?
I was scrolling on LinkedIn.
The heart attack.
That's the way I was scrolling on LinkedIn. Somebody actually shared a post where as in it's like a reel. The person arranged it and tagged it something on hypertension. So you see people addressing a crowd publicly and suddenly they slump.
They just slump.
Like 2 or 3 of
I
those.
actually saw
Somebody finished playing football
and
and
actually
slumped.
saw
Somebody
a
ate
video
and
sl-
sat
there was this
way
video. I can't
and
say
slumped.
that it was hypertension that was the cause, but honestly, I watched it and I was really surprised. Like, I'm sure a lot of people saw it. And a lady who was
in the office.
she was in the office. She was
Yeah,
talking to her
exactly.
boss and like appreciating him,
Trended.
and literally mid sentence, she kind of just tailed off.
Yeah.
I was
And what happened?
she
That was
died.
all. She was gone.
Ooh.
I was really surprised watching it. Like, I had seen the heading before I played the video, and even reading the heading, I thought like, can't really be. Do you get?
They
And
should
she
be
was
censoring all these
regularly
things, please.
talking,
Oh wow.
and she just.
I mean,
It wasn't
she
even so overly dramatic. She just like there was no jerking, nothing. She just like
no
her head just
pre-death symptoms.
tilted and
Wow.
she just
no
Mid-sentence.
dramatic
Kind of reminds me
pre-death
of one
symptoms.
guy on his birthday.
we always expect
He
these
was
things
dancing out
and fail.
and just fell.
And then that was the end.
His birthday was his
But-
death
No,
day.
I
we
think
were like these things as but are you really sure, Dr. Weye, that there will be no symptoms? Because I've seen some people who are hypertensive who kind of like maybe they'll get tired or something.
I was going to say something along that line.
Mhm.
You know, a lot of people feel that, okay, I've had people who are hypertensive and they're on medications.
Mhm.
And then the only time they get to take their medication is whenever they feel a slight headaches. Because they will tell you that, when I feel headaches, that's when I
In this
know,
particular angle,
that's when I actually know.
they don't
I
know
have
what
to
God
take-
has done for them.
That's when
They even have small sign.
That's when I know I should take my
But like you
medication.
said, this small
They
sign,
didn't-
the rubber band is being pulled,
Yeah,
right?
they don't actually take, their medications regularly.
Yeah.
Now, I must say this here, that hypertension is a silent killer. It's usually asymptomatic. It is usually asymptomatic. What that means is you can actually have high blood pressure for years without even knowing. There are grades to it.
Okay.
Now, the moment where you're actually having hypertension and it's becoming symptomatic, it's giving you neurological symptoms, then your BP is usually in the high range.
Like
You understand?
your body's reading.
Exactly. So, and our goal is not to leave your blood pressure to get to like a 180 over 120 or 170 over 110.
Yeah.
We want to keep it normal. We want to keep it less than 120, 80. That's our goal. So if you come to the hospital early and we pick you in a pre-hypertension stage, or we pick you in stage 1 hypertension, we start your medications. And then the goal is basically to prevent complications, to control the hypertension, and to prevent complication, and to prevent the hypertension from progressing. Because if you do not keep it under control, you know that can actually lead to organ damage. And they are vital organs: heart, brain, kidneys. Those 3 things.
Patsy, I have a question
You
for
don't need to
you.
be hearing
You know, you were talking about rent and all. So I want to ask you, is ignorance really the problem? Or is it that people are in denial? Or
I
is
think
it lifestyle resistance?
I think it's all of them joined
Together.
together. Honestly, I feel like I'm glad that we're doing this because people need to be educated on the seriousness, the severity of hypertension.
And
I know
prioritize
people
it.
with high blood pressure, right? And the way we're talking about it right now is like falling on my shoulders very heavy because even I didn't really take it that serious. And this is me, that I even knew that, there's a possibility this might lead to death.
Yeah.
I still had some kind of, it's not that serious. Do you get? So there's that. There's also the fact that people, even knowing that they have hypertension and all other things, they make it secondary. We still have a serious issue of making our health secondary. If it's, like she said, we like being carried to the hospital. There are a lot of things that we wait until you don't have any other option. Do you get? People can be having headaches. They're not going to the hospital. Toothache. I know. I personally have lost a toothache for a very long time before because
You should go check
You
it
didn't
out.
want to go to the hospital.
no,
You
when
didn't
you
want to
think
have the
about it,
tooth removed.
Check
I don't know.
it out.
But no, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
everything is a fear, including if I go now spend money. Do you understand?
Can you imagine
That
that?
like, when I can just
Let
the
me
pain
see
is
your-
not yet
let me see
killing me
your
yet.
phone. Let me see your phone.
Right?
No,
Right.
Do you get? But the point is, so there's that, and also there's also not wanting to admit a problem. Do you know?
That's people in
Denial.
denial.
Yes, people in denial. Because if they tell you you have hypertension, you
God
might
forbid.
have to. God forbid.
That is
Emphasis.
different. We are very
but
religious
like,
here.
there is now you might have to make lifestyle changes that you don't want to do. They'll determine the kind of food you
I
want to
think we
eat.
should even talk about that.
I'm waiting for
I
you
do-
to land
do you
because
know-
I'm coming to
Do
you.
you know how hard it is to control your diet? When they tell you don't eat
Some
this,
vegetables.
I really feel like people that know how to, if you are able to control yourself when it comes to your diet, that's one of the biggest disciplines.
I'm telling you.
I think it's
Especially when the are going in
I
with
think
the oil.
so. Yeah, there are things we hear. We should actually talk
Good
about this
for
food
you.
part because I
Sorry,
hear
good for
salt,
you.
water,
let's leave it for the doctor in the house. My brother, I said I should come to you, and I come to you thus. So aside, she asked in this when our guest was telling the story, she said, how often should people check their blood pressure?
Okay.
So that includes an average healthy person and a person with the issue. And then can you also tell us lifestyle changes or what the
Beautiful.
person can do?
Yeah.
Or what people can do generally, both the healthy and the unhealthy?
Okay, for me, I feel you would see hypertension more in the say population above the age of 30 now, because you're now beginning to see in
I was going to ask
younger,
about this age thing
Yeah.
because I'm starting to see young
beginning
people.
to see
Yes,
younger
yeah,
persons. So
yeah.
for people who are 30 years, at least 30 years and above, I believe if they are healthy, they should do once every 3 months is not a bad idea for you to actually have your blood pressure checked out and maybe do some.
Let me just say something here. The first time, I just walked down the street to get my blood pressure taken. To my utter shock,
Streets where?
like in a pharmacy,
Okay.
to my utter shock, it was just 100 naira.
Oh.
I think people should know that it's very cheap.
Some people don't
It's
even charge.
Yeah.
Some
there are
people don't
places-
even
So I
charge.
don't really
People
think
don't
you should
charge.
even.
Yeah.
It's very basic.
They don't know that. I didn't know that. I just thought I should check my blood pressure. And I went, and when I asked how much, they said 100 naira. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I could do this every
it's-
other
it's
day.
practically for free.
Not to digress further,
Mhm.
but there are some churches. My church,
They do it
the
for free.
pastorate is very, very, as in they carry them for head.
They are very keen on it.
One Sunday school is going on, there is somebody at the BP
Yeah,
stand.
that is
Check your BP
checking
as you're
your
coming
BP
into the
as
church.
I think that's a
So
very
that
beautiful.
people
one.
are actually taking ownership.
Now, if you have the machine, there's nothing that stops you from checking it weekly. If you have the machine in your house, there's nothing that stops you from checking it weekly. Whether you have the disease or you don't have the disease, there's nothing that
Shall
stops
be
you
checking.
from
Can I
checking
ask,
regularly.
how effective is it using a smartwatch?
Is
Well,
that table.
I
I
don't
know I
know.
want to know because I've always wondered. I've never really Googled it, but I've always wondered, is it accurate enough?
I
Personally,
know. Okay.
let me talk about it
Let's
personally.
yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't actually advise.
Okay,
that
you
use
prefer
it.
it
I'll
To
probably
use
prefer-
gadgets.
Yeah,
No.
no. I'll probably prefer you use the machine
speak.
itself.
Thank you, because some
Your
people might
speed.
be out there,
No,
people
no,
like
no,
me.
no,
My
I-
who
sister,
I
would
because
use
your
their
heart is
wristwatch.
in this area. How are you going to be checking
not
blood
even
pressure?
Come on now, the
Yeah,
blood pressure
actually-
machine is not here.
No,
They
that-
put
no,
it.
no,
It
no.
has been
No,
watered
no,
down.
They're actually
The
using,
reading don't reduce.
They're using the pulse rates and stuff. I mean,
Okay.
pressure flow through the arteries and all.
Here
But
I
then,
am pressing touch every
Sister, rest. Don't do that.
so I actually feel that you should do it regularly as it comes, at least once in 3 months if you're healthy. And then if you have the disease, once a month. If you have the disease, I would advise I actually get the machine. And if you cannot get the machine, once a month, just check into maybe a pharmacy, and then have it checked out and all that. I know cardiologists may actually have their own plan anyways, but that's what I, prescribe. Now, I was going to talk about lifestyle
changes.
modifications.
Yes,
Now,
please.
a lot of people feel that when you have blood pressure,
You should know it.
the only thing you need to do is to take your medication. So they throw caution to the wind because as long as they have medications, they think
can't
they are
eat
fine.
anything.
No, like for control of blood pressure, lifestyle modification is as important as medication. I'm going to stress that again. Lifestyle modification is as important as the medication. So both work together to actually ensure that your BP comes under control.
Okay,
so
so there's
if you're actually taking medications and you do not mind your lifestyle, you're not going to get any control.
Yeah.
You understand? If you mind your lifestyle, you're even more likely.
It's just a law.
Now, let me say this. I'm going to say this. Let me say this. If you mind your lifestyle, you are more likely going to get your blood pressure under control without even
The medication,
medications.
Abi.
Yeah. So basically,
There's a
what
lot
I'm
of
saying,
this like
Just allow this for the people in the back.
So what
because a lot of people are just going for that drug. On the pin.
no,
Just go.
I'm not saying you shouldn't be on medications, but what I'm saying is you should know that lifestyle modification is very,
It's
very
better.
important. Now, I will say some things about lifestyle modification. One, about 10 kilogram reduction in weight can reduce your blood pressure by up to like 5 to 20 millimeters of mercury. That's
Wow.
significant. So weight loss alone can contribute a lot. About 10 kilogram, loss. If you probably you're hypertensive and then your BMI, you're probably overweight or you're obese, lose weight by like 10 kg.
Wow.
Your BP is most likely going to drop by that much. By between 5 to 20, millimeters of mercury. And then, I did say earlier on I talked about alcohol. Now, for alcohol, reduce alcohol intake.
Is there anything alcohol is good for at this point? Because almost everything we talk
The
about
WHO
reduce
said
alcohol.
if you have not started, don't bother starting.
Now, what I know is you reduce alcohol intake, ethanol to 30 milligrams or less, 30 grams or less for the
measurements.
males. Yes.
I don't even have
exactly.
the bandwidth.
Then for the females, they would say 15 milligrams or less, and for people who have lightweight, then you reduce sodium, intake.
Salt.
Yeah, salt intake.
Indomie.
Salt intake. So, and then
Indomie.
prescription is
You do know how much?
the prescription is 6 grams or less in a day of sodium, or of sodium chloride. That's salt.
Wait, 6 grams or less.
You want to be measuring it.
No, I'm even calculating.
So, but
we use salt for everything.
No.
Maggi.
Wait. So now what that is saying is salt reduction will actually help you to achieve some reduction because in blacks, the cause of hypertension has, frequently been linked to water retention. So that's one of the reasons why you have to find a way to reduce your salt intake in your food.
You just
reduce
lost
alcohol.
me with this.
Don't
salt
worry,
and water
forget
retention.
forget about those technical things. But
Don't
the
take
key
plenty
point
salt.
there: reduce salt intake, lose weight, reduce
I have a
alcohol,
question.
stop
Drink
smoking,
water.
I have a question.
stop
How
smoking,
will your food be
reduce
sweet?
fat intake, especially
It's like
saturated fats.
oil,
Okay.
like
Yes, all these, saturated fat, animal-based fats. So to say, plant oils are better. The natural oils and all those are better. Like your olive oils, like soybean oils, those
soy
are
oil.
better. So basically, so you reduce, fat too. So basically, you're reducing fat, reducing sodium, you're reducing your weight, reducing alcohol, stopping smoking. So those are, and then you exercise. I was going to say that aerobic exercises, at least 30 minutes a day, can also reduce your blood pressure. I think between, is it 2 to 8 millimeters of mercury or something? So these things are, your lifestyle modifications, things you should actually pay attention to. So while you are using your medications, try as much as possible to exercise, modify your diet, and lose weight.
Do you know that I'm realizing that sometimes like these things they say, every time we talk, it's the same thing. Do you realize? Like
How do you
the
mean?
same lifestyle modifications. Eat well, exercise, sleep. It's the same.
Sleep.
Eat well
I
is
forgot to
balanced
say
diet,
sleep.
hope you know.
Yeah, sleep.
Sleep.
Sleep well.
Sleep.
Thanks for bringing that.
Sleep.
Like it's just this, what I'm thinking. Like if we are able to get these basic things right, it's like they will have
There won't be any need for the medication.
this effects all round
Exactly.
on so many things.
Not even
But
just
it's
the blood pressure.
hard. If you say don't cook with plenty salt, how will the food be sweet?
You have to be disciplined. I mean, it's a taste that you can control.
Oh my God.
Do you have to put lots of Maggi and salt?
A lot of people eat like okay, maybe you're even talking with the assumption that people cook at home. A lot of people eat out, and if you're eating out, those people are bathing their food in Maggi and salt.
Okay, I don't want to spoil people's businesses. Then, if that's the issue,
Cook at home.
Okay.
The level of the discipline lifestyle, bro. The discipline is high.
but you have to do it.
So, Dr. Way, just let's just give our listeners your goodbye words on this topic, because I know a lot of table leg has been
That's-
broken. You didn't just shake it, you broke the
Did
table.
I?
Yes.
No, I just spoke the truth.
Yeah.
Well, for me, I just think that, well, hypertension is eh, complications of hypertension is the complications are preventable. Hypertension is easily managed, and then hypertension can be well controlled. I know people who have been on antihypertensives for 30 years.
30.
Yes,
Wow.
and then they are still fine.
Hmm.
So you need not die because you have high blood pressure. It's not the end of the world. It can be controlled by most of the simple things that we've talked about. I mean, if you do not take alcohol, you won't die. If you don't smoke, you won't die. If you don't take salt, really, you won't really die. So that's just the truth. So that's my parting word.
Patsy, any pattern with your rent and the
I think well, I'd say like to the average Nigerian, take it more seriously. I think that's like my biggest takeaway from this.
Yeah.
We really need to take blood pressure, hypertension. We need to take it more seriously. See the gravity of the situation, not just like this little thing that you keep overlooking. If you have everybody, let's be checking our blood pressure more often. If you know you have hypertension, be very serious with it. So I think that's it for me.
Yeah.
Okay, so for me, I would say that you feel okay does not mean your blood pressure is okay. And then skipping your medication is a no-no.
Yeah.
Please. One BP reading is not enough to say I am fine. Keep checking. Hypertension is silent, but the consequences are very, very loud. So early detection saves lives. Consistency saves lives. Awareness and education, just like we are doing, saves lives. Your BP number is not just a number. You need to know how to control it. So you need to check it, understand it, and control it. I like to say a heartfelt thanks, because we're talking about blood pressure, so the thanks has to be heartfelt.
Yeah.
So my co-host for
That's
doing
awesome.
justice to this topic, and thank you to our guests who shared her story. Do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and follow SynLab across all social media platforms. This is the Healthwise Show. My name is Uche Namadi, and I'm signing off.